There are tonight's audience members. A lot of people mistake having some degrees with being educated. Most degrees are nothing but certifications for higher paying jobs. It's a great quote by Edmund Bianca. This is the pavement towards the gateway exposing the controversy of higher education. The hope for a student to graduate in 4 years is reasonable, yet difficult. Throughout the speech, I'm going to discuss the rise in higher education costs, the amount of student loan debt accumulated as such, and what can be done to help minimize these costs, as well as what will help it happen if not. With rise in tuition and fees, student debt rises with it. Today, the average hard-working, dedicated individuals have $28,400 in student loan debt, according to the U.S. News. Book costs alone are outrageous. Per semester, books can cost between $200 and $500 on average. Throughout 4 years, students experience 8 semesters. At $300 per semester for books, you're looking at $2,400 in costs just for books over the course of 4 years. I brought 2 examples with me. This book here is for a rock and roll class. It costs $70, and it's a general education book. This book is Nutrition and Diet Therapy for a dietetics major. This book cost over $150 just for one semester, one class. As you can tell, the difference in book cost is a general education is a little cheaper compared to a major book. Between 2012 and 2013, student debt went up 2%, also according to the U.S. News. At this rate, every 2 years the loan would go up $1,000. Right now we're at $28,400. In 2 years, that will be close to $29,400. The New York Times believes that tuition is rising for one reason: lack of state funds. An interview conducted by Paul Campus of the New York Times, he interviewed Sandy Baum, and she was quoted saying, "Colleges are not spending more money to educate, but instead raising tuition and fees from cuts in the state budget." This is extremely true. If cars were to raise price as quickly as the tuition has raised over the last 30 years, the average car nowadays would cost $80,000. The actual average cost of a car today is between $25,000 and $30,000. So we're talking about $50,000, which a car would raise if that was the case, if it raised as quickly as the cost of tuition. Higher education costs is on the rise, and student debt is as well. What can be done to resolve it? An article by the Fiscal Times came up with several ways, but they pinpointed it down to 3 that they said are specific. One would be for high school students to take AP classes. 2 was to buy books online, and 3 was to save your money. Now, for a high school student to take AP classes, that may be difficult for them. If they don't understand the material, they're not going to succeed well in basically a college-level course. Granted, it is good advice to take AP level classes because it will help quicken the graduation process, but some students aren't able to do so. Buying books online is definitely a helpful tip when trying to save money on books. I've saved money in the past and plan to save money in the future by doing that. But some books, however, cannot be bought online. For instance, some classes use online websites, mostly math classes, and those cost anywhere between $80 and $130 just for a website. And some books, like when I was at Ohio University, were university specified. You had to just buy a university book through Ohio University that was $130 just for a general education book. And saving money is more or less of a life tip. I mean, it is definitely good advice on trying to help lower your tuition costs, but it's more of a life tip to save money. Unfortunately, some families can't save money as fast or as easy as other families can, so that's more of a life tip. I didn't really find that much help. Regardless, all of these are helpful tips, but no one is pushing the issue to the university. We need to cut classes such as general education classes, and that would help lower tuition costs. That would also erase book costs for those classes, and students would also be taking classes that would count towards their major to help them get through the graduation process faster, which in return saves a lot of money. What will America be like in 25 years if we do not solve this issue of growing debt? Forbes article in 2014 shows that it will impact the economy in several ways. Chief economist Mark Zandi from Moody's Analytics says that people will buy homes later, it will take them longer to save their money, they will start families later, and they will take less vacations. The concept is actually quite simple. Let's discuss this concept of it being a longer process to save money. I found this ironic because when I was looking up ways to help cut costs, one was save money. Well, if Mark is saying it's going to take people longer to save their money, how is that going to be possible? That's going to hurt their children's future when it comes to college, and then their children's future. It's a vicious cycle that will be repeated over and over again. With people not buying homes, they won't be buying furniture, appliances, and like I stated before, if it's harder to save money, they won't be taking as many vacations. This will affect the economy in many different ways. Student debt is a real-life issue. Without resolving the problem, people can be found in great financial unstable situations. I hope that I was able to persuade you into seeing the issue with higher education. We discussed the lack of state funding causing student loan debt. We also discussed that no real issues have been brought up to universities to resolve their problems. And the idea behind cutting general education classes would definitely help cut the cost of tuition and fees. These students are our future, and in order for them to do their job sufficiently, we can't have them worrying about making a loan payment on time. Thank you.